The Nature of Personal Reality, a Seth book by Jane Roberts, read by Martin John, Chapter 5. The Constant Creation of the Physical Body. Session 626, November 8, 1972, 9:06 p.m., Wednesday. Good evening. Dictation. An aside to you. Now, you see, I can speak in time, or out of it. Underline time. The physical, alive body, its activities and condition, are directed through the beliefs of the conscious mind. The body, as explained in this chapter, also has invisible counterparts composed of electromagnetic properties and the interior sound and light qualities. These invisible structures precede the emergence of the physical body. They also exist after the body's death. While the condition of the body is directed by the conscious mind in life, then, the idea or mental pattern for the body existed before the conscious mind's connection with the physical brain. The genes and chromosomes do not just happen to have within them the precisely definite coded information that will be needed. The data is impressed upon them from within. The identity exists before the form. You could say that the identity existing in another dimension entirely plants the seed into the medium of the physical reality from which its own material existence will spring. Therefore, the inner self forms, first, the invisible body structure which will later emerge in flesh. At the event of this mental sending, the conscious mind, in your terms, is obviously not connected with the brain, which has not yet been formed in flesh. The idea of the body is held and made physical by a conscious mind. Consciousness then is not dependent upon physical perception, though this attribute does require an awareness immersed within a material form. While physical consciousness is sifted through the bodily apparatus, you are usually unaware of non-corporal kinds because of that process. The general framework, properties, and characteristics of the body exist, therefore, before its formation. In simple terms, you choose ahead of time the kind of body you inhabit and impress. It may seem to you that you do not have any conscious control over your body's condition in life as you know it, much less before birth. You have been taught that there is little connection between your thought and your body's activities. A man believing he has heart trouble will finally, through his own anxiety, affect the functioning of his involuntary system until his heart is definitely harmed if the belief goes unchecked. The conscious mind directs the so-called involuntary systems of the body and not the other way around. No idea slips insidiously past your awareness to affect your involuntary system unless it fits in with your own conscious beliefs. Once more, you will not be sick if you think you are well, but there may be other ideas that make you believe in the necessity for poor health. You are not aware of how your body performs its many involuntary functions. The conscious mind could not handle all that data, but those functions perfectly mirror your consciously held ideas and beliefs. As I also mentioned, the conscious mind is not basically cut off from the inner self or from those deep inner sources of knowledge available to it. The aware mind is not any one event, for that matter. It represents various portions of the inner self that surface at any given time. Within the basic framework of the body chosen before physical birth, for reasons that will be discussed later, the individual has full freedom to create a perfectly healthy functioning form. The form is, however, a mirror of beliefs, and will accurately materialize in flesh those ideas held by the conscious mind. That is one of the body's primary functions. A sick body is performing that function then, in its way, as well as a healthy one. It is your most intimate feedback system, changing with your thought and experience, giving you in flesh the physical counterpart of your thought. So it is futile to become angry at a symptom or to deride the body for its condition when it is representing you with the corporeal replica of your own thought, as it was meant to do. Your environment and your experience in the physical world also provide you with the same kind of feedback. It is just as useless to berate your environment or your experience in it as it is to deride your body for the same reasons. It often seems, when such ideas as these are presented, that your ideal results in your terms which would be perfection. Heaven on earth, a state in which would be healthy, wealthy, and wise. You are, however, in your physical existence using your body as a medium for learning and expression. You're each unique. Many of you, for your own reasons, pursue courses that do not involve an even development of your abilities, an overall balanced picture, for example, but choose to express and experiment with certain qualities to the exclusion of others. Such a course would not, in physical reality, represent you with anything like a balanced picture of perfection. Later in the book, we will discuss other kinds of existence in which you are also involved, and these to some extent color your intents and purposes in the physical life as you now understand it. If all of your beliefs, not just your fortunate ones, were not materialized, you would never thoroughly understand on a physical level that your ideas create reality. If only your positive beliefs were materialized, then you would never clearly comprehend the power of your thought, for you would not completely experience its physical results. The conscious mind exists before material life and after it. In corporal existence, it is intertwined with the brain, and during physical life, your earthly perceptions, your precise and steady focus within your particular space and time system are dependent upon that fine alliance. Before physical birth, then, you form a mental concept of the body you will have. This image is impressed into matter in this way. You tune yourself into a highly specific dimension of reality. You form a physical structure that will have existence within that intensely concentrated area, that you will have validity and actuality. That will come alive within those frequencies. Now it is here that the seeming division in the self occurs, for in your physical life the conscious mind must be connected with the brain, and in terms of time that organ itself must grow and develop. So all of your consciousness cannot be physically aware. The portion that must wait for the brain's development is the part you call in your life the conscious mind. The other portions can be called the inner self. Now this inner self cannot be expressed even with its connection with the brain, since the brain must sift perception through the physical apparatus. The brain, with its bodily connections, must deal with the time lapses that central perception always imply. The interior workings of the body, to be conscious, would have to deal with time sequences that would present the physically attuned consciousness with mathematical deductions and calculations far too numerous for it to handle. For example, it would have to keep conscious track of all the muscles, nerves, organs, cells, molecules, and atoms while manipulating the body in space and time. Therefore, a seeming division occurs, in which a portion of the invisible conscious mind is connected with the physical brain, and a portion of it is free from that connection. That latter part forms what you think of as the involuntary system of the body. Again, it is important that you realize that the initial non-physical reaction to stimuli that sparks off all physical reactions. There is constant interplay and communication between the areas of consciousness that are connected to the brain and those that are not. The deeper purposes of the consciousness involved circulate, sometimes arising in the awareness that is joined with the brain. Information coming from those deeper sources of the self, reaching the areas connected to the brain, will be interpreted according to the beliefs of that most physically focused segment of the self. To some degree, such inner data will be colored by the current beliefs of that part of the self most directly confronting the physical world. Those beliefs, however, are also constantly being examined by the inner self. End chapter 5. Peace, light, and love. Aloha.